Have you ever been in a situation where you couldn't wait to leave the woman you're with and be with the boys? I'm sure women have the same situation where they would where there are times where they rather spend time with their girlfriends and be themselves and talk and gossip and do whatever the hell they want and compare notes. But this is more pointed towards men, this particular video. I'm sure that you've been in situations where you've been with your woman, you've got your physical needs met, and now your friends are calling and they're all gathered up and they're asking you to join them, and there's no place on earth you'd rather be than with the boys, shooting the bull and just being yourself and have boy talk and boy time. Well, that leads me to believe that there are, not just me, but men around the globe, that are, for the most part, our need for women is physical. And the true joy is when we're with boys and where they understand us, they speak our language, and we are understood and we understand them. And it's an enjoyable and fruitful and beneficial exchange of information and time. Whereas there are times, I won't lie to you, and there are times where you would just badly need to be with a woman, but that's mostly physical. Unless we're talking about that small percentage of women, and this is global, where you happen to find a female who is a true friend, who is a compatriot, who is a confidant, who understands you, and you truly enjoy spending time with her and talking to her. Those are always in the minority. Those types of women are always in the minority, but they do exist. They absolutely do exist. But in this video, I'm talking about the fact that a lot of men need to face, that we really love women for the physical satisfaction and fulfillment that they provide us than necessarily the women themselves. Especially the ones that are unpleasant and entitled and just not a joy to be around, but they happen to have a beautiful body and a beautiful face, maybe. How long can you really be with them after your business is finished? When I talk to guys that are married, there's always two things they tell me. Delay it as much as you can, and don't be in a rush to do it. Now, under what other situations would you tell someone delay it as much as you can? Like you're going to have a colonoscopy or have your wisdom teeth pulled. Delay it as much as you can. That means it's something I had to do, but not necessarily something that I'm enjoying being in. In the West, this situation is multiplied by 100 times, and not in a good way. Because we all know about the divorce laws of the West and how they are 100% on the side of the woman always. Very, very unfair. Very unfair. And I don't want to get into details because I've gotten into that in the videos before. And if you've been through a divorce, I have not. If you've been through a divorce, you know what it takes. My brother has. Many, many, many people I know have. And it is not a pleasant thing. That is when the true face and the ugliest part of the persons come out. Go to a divorce family court hearing, and you know what I'm talking about. In the West, all the woman has to say is, one day, out of the blue, she tells you, I want a divorce. That's all. Now, if she did not have that mountain of backing behind her in the form of divorce laws of the West, she wouldn't be so quick to say that. She would think long and hard before saying, I'm not happy, I want a divorce. This is the way I feel, and I just can't explain it. And that's the end of the discussion. Here's the telephone number of my lawyer, talk to him. Those situations simply do not happen. Those conversations do not take place in countries where divorce laws are not as they are in the United States and Canada and certain Western countries. They just simply do not take place because they know they're going to end up with nothing. Now, again, I don't want to get into the divorce situations and divorce laws and all that. That's a subject of other videos that I've covered. But the point of this video is we must realize that the biggest part of the need that we have to be with women most of the times, in most cases, is physical. We don't actually enjoy being around them too much. For the most part, I'd say 97% of them. On average, these percentages are not exact, but they're pretty close. Most of them, we don't really enjoy being with them past our physical needs and that we have from them. Most of them start to be unpleasant, and we realize we have less and less common with them. They want to do something else. We want to do something else. I see them in the travel industry because that's part of my job, to travel around the world. And the ugliest part also of the relationships rear their head during travel, because it's during traveling when you're together morning, noon, and night. He doesn't go to work like in a normal situation and he comes back at 5 o'clock. You're together morning, noon, and night. And within 48 hours, she wants to do something else and you want to do something else, and tensions start to rise. A lot of people break up after trips because they realize how much they don't like each other, how different they are. In a normal life, they get to avoid each other most of the day. And if you're somebody who travels for business or something, you avoid each other 50-60% of the time. That's how relationships last. When you're in a situation where it works best when you're away from each other or away from the situation 50-60% of the time, what does that tell you? And again, this problem is much more present and much more in your face in the West than it is in the other parts of the world. In other parts of the world, in South America and Eastern Europe and even in Western Europe, the men get to fulfill their needs, their physical needs, with other options that are 1,001 other options that are available out there in their normal place where they're living. So they don't have to resort to tolerating being with a person they don't want to be with just for the sake of fulfilling that physical need. You see what I mean? Have you ever really wanted to be with a woman and then you satisfied yourself in other ways, and then you realize, oh my God, I'm glad I didn't have her come over, because the need was physical. Do not underestimate the importance of that physical need, that forces you to be with a woman and go through all the motions of meeting them, taking them to dinner, and all the other things you have to do in the hope of getting that little reward in the end, which you may or may not get. And then when it's over, you have to deal with her again in the morning. Now, I am not against women. I love them. I couldn't live without them, without their existence in this world. But I'm just trying to bring some facts in your face, just trying to make you realize that most of the need you have from women is physically related. And if you ever doubt what I'm saying, imagine the woman that you really want to have in your life. Imagine a woman that you really miss, maybe if she left you or something. And imagine if she didn't have any sexual organs, could not offer you sex in any way. Would you still want her? All the best to the next video.